Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, back again with some more geeky news. Some sad news tonight and some not so sad news. I've got a new cap. Well, it's not a new cap, I've had it for years, but it says a bit of a Star Trek one, and I've got a Star Wars t-shirt on, with a stain on, because I'm a slob. Don't think you can see it. Right, let's crack on there. So I'll make myself small. We'll get the sad news out of the way first. I think everybody knows it already. It was big news last night. Right, there we go. William Hurt dies. Oscar-winning Kiss of the Spider Woman actor and four-time nominee, the Academy Award nominee, was 71. There he is in, I presume it's Kiss of the Spider. I've never seen it, I don't know. Now I'll read this and then I'll give me thoughts. William Hurt, an Oscar winner for Kiss of the Spider Woman, who often played a quiet intellectual in his early acting roles, but later took more strident turns in science fiction and Marvel films, died today, a week before his 72nd birthday. William Hurt's son, Will, posted today that his father had died yesterday. It was announced in May 2018 that the elder Hurt had terminal prostate cancer that had spread to the bone. William Hurt remembered... so that's a link, isn't it? It is with great sadness that the Hurt family mourns the passing of William Hurt, beloved father and Oscar-winning actor, on March 13th, 2022, 1 week before his 72nd birthday. His son wrote, "He died peacefully among family of natural causes. The family requests privacy at this time." Hurt had 3 consecutive Best Actor Academy Award nominations in the mid-80s for Kiss of the Spider Woman 1985, for which he also won Best Actor at the BAFTAs and the Cannes Film Festival, Children of a Lesser God 1986, and Broadcast News 1987. He later snagged a Supporting Actor Oscar nom for A History of Violence. He later earned Emmy nominations for Too Big to Fail in 2011 and Damages in 2009. Hurt was also an active stage actor during the 80s, appeared in off-Broadway productions and received his first Tony Award nomination in 1985 for the Broadway production of Hurly Burly. His debut film role was in 1980, playing a scientist in the science fiction thriller Altered States, for which he received a Golden Globe nomination for New Star of the Year. Bit of a weird film, that. Never mind. I'm going to say the director's name, but as usual, my brain's not complying. From there, he played a memorable role as the lawyer seduced by Kathleen Turner in Lawrence Kasdan's Body Heat 1981. Kasdan cast Hurt again in 1983 as part of the ensemble in The Big Chill. He then appeared in the role of Renko in Gorky Park. Hurt often worked with top-tier directors. His first 5 films were helmed by Ken Russell. That's what we're thinking of, Ken Russell. Peter Yates, Kasdan, Michael Apted and Hector Babenko. He went on to work on 2 more films with Kasdan, The Accidental Tourist and I Love You to Death, as well as projects with James L. Brooks, Woody Allen, Gregory Nava, Wim Wenders, Anthony Minghella, Wayne Wang, Nora Ephron, Franco Zeffirelli, Carl Franklin, Istvan Jabot, apologies for that, David Cronenberg, Steven Spielberg, M. Night Shyamalan, Ridley Scott, Anthony and Joe Russo, and many more. His career continued with such films as AI, Artificial Intelligence, The Village, Syriana, The Good Shepherd, Mr. Brooks, Into the Wild and Robin Hood. In 2014, Hurt was on the scene of one of the worst on-set accidents in recent history. He was starring as Greg Allman in director Randall Miller's biopic Midnight Rider, when a train smashed into the set on a trestle in rural Georgia, killing camera assistant Sarah Jones and injuring several others. Hurt was on the trestle but escaped unharmed. The actor later said he repeatedly expressed concern that cast and crew members loaded with gear were safe on the trestle should a train come, and was assured by AD Hilary Schwartz that they were. "It's the sorrow of my professional life and one of the great sorrows of my personal life," Hurt later said of the accident. "It was simply impossible to imagine anything like that could happen." The one other thing I could have done was say, this isn't good enough for me, I'm walking off the set, but it was our very, very first day with a crew that had worked together before. Shortly after the accident, director-producer Miller attempted to move forward with the production, but Hurt quit rather than return to the film. Miller, Jay, Sedrich and Schwartz were all convicted of criminal trespassing and involuntary manslaughter in Jones's death. Sedrich and Schwartz got probation, Miller got 2 years in jail and 8 years probation. To younger fans, Hurt was part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films in his role as the blustering Thaddeus Ross, a general who was there on the fateful day Bruce Banner became the Hulk. The Ross character appeared in 5 Marvel films, including The Incredible Hulk, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame and Black Widow, as well as the Marvel one-shot The Consultant and the Disney Plus animated series What If, the latter voiced by Mike McGill. Hurt was born on March 20th, 1950 in Washington, D.C. His father was part of the US Agency for International Development, a role which saw the family move to Lahore, Mogadishu and Khartoum. His parents divorced and his mother married Henry Luce, the third, son of publisher Henry Luce. He went on to attend Tufts University where he studied theology, but the acting bug bit him and he joined the Juilliard School's drama division, where he spent 4 years immersed among such future stars as Robin Williams and Christopher Reeve. Starting in 1977, Hurt was a member of the Circle Repertory Company, winning an Obie Award for his appearance in Corinne Jacker's My Life. He had a broad resume in theatre, winning a 1978 Theatre World Award for his multiple performances in 5th of July. I don't know. Ulysses in Traction and Lulu. Hurt is survived by 4 children. No memorial details have been revealed. So that's very sad. That's 71 years old. That's not. That's no age in these days. But as the article said, he did have terminal prostate cancer, so it can't have been very pleasant. So there we go. Very sad. I've got to admit, I wasn't a huge William Hurt fan. I found him a little, to be honest, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but I found him a little boring. I'm sorry, but he didn't jump off the screen at me. So, but I recognise his achievements and his popularity, and obviously he was an Oscar winner. So there you go. And I watched him quite recently, this last week actually, coincidentally, in the Lost in Space film. Not his greatest moment, but which I'm sure he'd agree. But I'm sure it bought him something nice. So there we go. So sad news to start off. Anyway, we'll crack on. Not a lot of news tonight, got to be honest, so it might be a short show. So, but anyway, we'll crack on. We've got BAFTA winners. It was the BAFTAs last night. I didn't know till I saw this. Anyway, so we've got BAFTA Film Awards 2022 winners list in full. So we'll go through them. This year, the BAFTAs were held in person for the first time since the start of the pandemic in March 2020, with Rebel Wilson hosting the ceremony. And apparently, she looked lovely. She's lost loads of weight, 5 stone apparently, and says she's looking well. She looked well before when she was a big girl. No, nothing against big people, but she's lost a lot of weight. She looks healthier. Let's put it that way. I mean, I can't say anything. I'm a big fat git. So anyway, while 2021's award show was pushed back by weeks and the nominees and audience attended virtually, Britain's biggest night in film was back with a red carpet for the starriest names in cinema. Denis Villeneuve's sci-fi epic Dune led the pack this year with 11 nominations, and it won a few, but not the big ones. Closely followed by Jane Campion's western The Power of the Dog, which amassed a total of 8. So the full list of winners, so we'll go through them. Best film. The best film was won by The Power of the Dog. That's the western starring Benedict Cumberbatch and directed by Jane Campion. Obviously, I've not seen it, because I don't think it'd be my cup of tea. And a nice photo of a horse's arse. Very good. Best director, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog. There we go. Original screenplay, Paul Thomas Anderson, Licorice Pizza. Not seen that one either. And I probably never will. Best adapted screenplay, Sian Heder for Coda. Not seen that either, don't even know what it's about. Got to be honest, never heard of it. Best leading actress, Joanna Scanlon for After Love. Again, don't know it. I've got a feeling there's a lot of these I don't know. Leading actor, Will Smith for King Richard. Supporting actress, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. I've heard of that, I've not seen it. Not the new one, anyway. Best supporting actor, Troy Kotsur for Coda. I don't know. Is it a science fiction film? It sounds with a name like Coda, but I bet it ain't. Bet it ain't. Anyway, outstanding British... I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? But I didn't. Outstanding British film, Belfast. That's the Kenneth Branagh, like semi-autobiographical film, isn't it? So that's what was that one? Best outstanding British film. Don't know what that's a photo from. That's Passing. I don't know. Outstanding debut by a British writer. Because remember, this is the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. This is why it's got a British slant. Outstanding debut by a British writer, director or producer. The Harder They Fall. Never heard of it. Film not in the English language. Drive My Car. Again, I don't know. Don't know a lot of these. Best documentary, Summer of Soul or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. Very good. Best animated film, Encanto. I haven't seen an animated film for ages. I haven't seen Encanto. Best original score, here we go. Hans Zimmer, I spelt it wrong, for Dune. There we go, so that's the first one for Dune. How many is that? Let's start counting. I'll put that. That's one. Best casting, Cindy Tolan, West Side Story. Best cinematography, Dune. That's two. Two for Dune. And there's a shot from it. Best editing, No Time to Die. That's the James Bond film, which I actually quite liked, apart from the end, obviously. I'll not spoil it, but it's got a crap ending. Best production design, Dune. That's 3. There we go. Best costume design, Cruella. Well, yeah, I suppose so. I've not seen it. My son's seen it, but I've not seen it. I don't see point in having an origin story for Cruella de Vil. Why? Just watch the cartoon, the original cartoon. Or if you're stuck for it, watch the Glenn Close live action one. Where were we? 3, weren't we? Makeup and hair, Eyes of Tammy Faye. Never heard of it. Best sound, Dune. That's 4. There's Daniel Craig as Mr. Bond. Best visual effects, Dune. That's 5. British short animation, Do Not Feed the Pigeons. British short film, The Black Cop. Oh, and that's it. So there we go. So Dune got 5. So I think that probably won the most, didn't it, out of them? I think, what was it? Thinking of the dog, whatever the hell they call it. One that won Best Picture, I think that only got 2, didn't it? Power of the Dog. Yeah. I think that only got 2, didn't it? For director and film. But Dune got 5, but not the big ones. But, it got some good ones. And it's a good film. So there we go. So that's your list of the BAFTAs. Next up, the Oscars, but not today. Right, Star Trek. Hey, you got my Star Trek cap on. Carl Urban. See, I mentioned this the other day. I thought we'd heard from Carl Urban, but obviously not. Carl Urban still hasn't seen a script for Star Trek 4. And none of the others have either. Pardon me. Carl Urban, let's have a drink of me pop. Where's me pop? It's here. Speaking of Star Trek, look at that baby. Can you hear me? Can you see it? There we go. Get it light. My brother gave me this today. Don't know where he got it from, but thanks, bruv. My big brother, who is even older Yorkshire geek. So there we go. I'll enjoy looking at that. Star Trek Where No One Has Gone Before, A History in Pictures. Revised and updated, featuring more than 30 pages of new material. There we go. So I'll enjoy looking at that. There's William Shatner there. There's Captain Kirk and another picture. That's from the motion picture. And Ooh, look at that. Look at that beauty. Look at that. That's Starship porn, isn't it? That's what that is. And then we've got Deep Space Nine there. So there you go. So thanks, bruv. I'll enjoy reading that. Anyway, where were we? Carl Urban is just as eager as his fellow cast members to get back on the Enterprise, but he has yet to read the Star Trek 4 screenplay. And there he is, that's Carl Urban there. As Leonard Bones McCoy, son of David. Oh, pardon me, Pop. And you also, I ate some smoky bacon crisps today, and I can taste them every time I burp. I'm sure you wanted to know that, didn't you? A new Star Trek sequel is reportedly set to start production in the near future. This is from MovieWeb, by the way. As usual, all the links are in the description box below. And don't forget to like, as it says up there, like and subscribe, and share the videos, and what else? Oh, I can never remember. Drop a comment in the comments if you're watching live. I know you're not, because I can see there's no viewers again. Join the live chat. What else? Notification. Yeah, hit the notification bell, and then you'll be told if I do anything new. I generally try and do something every day, but you'll be told anyway. So thank you, and thanks for watching, and good night. Haha. No, I'm only kidding. Right, where were we? A new Star Trek sequel is reportedly set to start production in the near future, but the cast members are still waiting to see what they'll be doing in the film. Last month it was reported that J.J. Abrams is producing a Star Trek Beyond sequel that will bring back the main cast from the reboot film trilogy. The film was announced at the Paramount Investors Day presentation with other Star Trek news, along with the reveal that Abrams was planning to start shooting by the end of the year. God, it'll be awful. Oh, it will. It'll be awful. Anyway, we are thrilled to say that we are hard at work on a new Star Trek film that will be shooting by the end of the year, that will be featuring our original cast and some new characters that I think are going to be really fun and exciting and help take Star Trek into areas that you've just never seen before. Abrams said, "We're thrilled about this film. We have a bunch of other stories that we're talking about that we think will be really exciting, so can't wait for you to see what we're cooking up. But until then, live long and prosper." That makes me feel sick. Smoky bacon crisp sick in my mouth. Thinking of J.J. Abrams saying live long and prosper. Give me a minute. Anyway, though Abrams clearly stated the original cast was coming back, this was an announcement that took them by surprise. Speaking more about the situation with Variety, cast member Carl Urban revealed that he still hasn't seen the screenplay and can't offer any details about the project. However, he does sound very optimistic and appears to be hoping it all works out, as he's eager to get back on the Star Trek set with his fellow Starfleet crew members. "I haven't seen the script, I know nothing, but I would love to work with those guys again. So much fun, the best hang we'll see," Urban said. That looks like a tweet, doesn't it? These comments are similar to what Chris Pine had to say about Star Trek 4. He recently explained, "I think everybody was like, 'Did you hear about this?' We're usually the last people to find out, but I do know we're all excited. Whenever they want to send us a script, we're ready for it. We haven't seen a script, I don't know anything about it." Asked if he had trust in the script, Pine responded, "I don't trust anybody, but I'm excited. I love the story, I love Star Trek, I love my people." Star Trek 4 has been a long time coming. There have been years of rumours and false starts for Star Trek 4, though J.J. Abrams' optimism seems to be a good sign this time around. Zoe Saldana, who plays Uhura in the franchise, also recently touched on continuing the story with a new film. I'll just adjust me stupid hair. For her and the rest of the cast, it will be bittersweet, as they'll be happy to be back together again, but it will come with a certain pain of not having the late Anton Yelchin there with the rest of them. "We're excited," Saldana said. "Obviously it's bittersweet, because we are coming together for a fourth time and one of us is no longer with us with Anton's passing, but we honestly feel that going back and keeping the Star Trek family together is a way to really keep him alive in our thoughts and our hearts, because he was such a fan and he was such a devoted artist to the craft and also to Star Trek. So it would be great to get to go back to work and get to, be together with the gang. And there we go, that's it. So there we go. So obviously, we've heard this before, haven't we? From the other actors, as it says. We've heard it from Chris Pine, as Zoe Saldana. There's no script, and there's no script written yet. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the film doesn't happen, but we'll just have to wait and see. Because they do things for these. What were it for? What was it? Investors' Day. So these Investors' Day presentations, they're basically just scribble out some things that they might want to do just to try and get investors interested. That's all it is, isn't it? It's just trying to get investors excited for upcoming stuff. So they just write a lot of things on the back of a beer mat and see what sticks. That's what happens. Right, we're sticking with Star Trek. Because I've got my Star Trek cap on. I got this cap from a convention. I went to the Destination Star Trek 50 in Birmingham. Not Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham in the UK. The proper Birmingham. Which is more miles of canal than Venice. So I just thought I'd just drop that trivia in. Yes, I got this from there. So, and it's alright. Just thought it'd make a change. There we go. So you can see it's got a shiny Starfleet symbol on there. That's probably reflecting the light all wrong. But anyway. Right, Star Trek Discovery explains why Harry Kim of Voyager never got promoted. Oh, does it? I've not read this. I'm sorry. I saw the headline. I thought, right, we'll have a read. Because I've always thought, why did Harry Kim never get promoted? Stayed an ensign for 7 years. I never understood why they would make an ensign the head of operations. He was the operations officer. Maybe when he first came on board, he wasn't the head of operations, but they called him the operations officer. And on a starship, operations is the biggest department. Data on the Enterprise was the head of operations on the Enterprise. And it's the biggest department. We've got the most people working for it because it covers lots of different departments. So why would they put an ensign in charge of operations? I don't know. He should have at least been a lieutenant, shouldn't he? At least. Should have given him a battlefield commission to lieutenant. I know he was fresh out of the academy and stuff, but even Tom Paris were promoted above him, and he was a jail bird, wasn't he? Poor Kim. Poor Harry Kim. Anyway, let's see what it's got to say. Pardon me. Could be spoilers in this for Star Trek Discovery, but I don't care. I couldn't give a toss because I hate Star Trek Discovery. As the season of Star Trek Discovery comes to a close, yay! There's another season to go though. Oh, Christ. Fans of the show have just a few days to ponder what this season's threat might be. The dark matter anomaly, DMA, has been the subject of much conversation, especially with some fans who try to link this disturbance to aggressors from Trek past. In DMA, some copyright thing. Pardon me. Let's have another drink. Hey. Just I'm trying something different with the microphone now. I've got it pointing a different way. Because you couldn't see me. I was hidden behind one of these, wasn't I? There we go. But now I'm trying a different setup. It might not work, and I might be blowing and popping and all sorts, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, some thought that since the DMA is automated, is it? I don't know, I haven't seen it. It must be related to the Borg or another technologically advanced race. Many believe that the DMA could have been created by the same beings who made V'ger into a massive spacecraft. While others speculated that the DMA might have something to do with the Doomsday Machine, which was also a robot-controlled force of destruction. None of those theories hold water now, as the episode Species 10C revealed the creatures behind the technology. Unfortunately, for those fans who have been speculating, the 10C are not anything that has been seen before. As noted in a previous article, The 10C are much like the aliens from the 2016 film Arrival, which I didn't like, as they cannot communicate with human beings verbally or through psionic methods. Episode 12. Captain Burnham, Sneako Martin Green, Saru, Doug Jones and other crew members worked out a way to communicate with the 10C using lights and the understanding of chemicals released by the alien species. Fans will find out on March 17th, 2022 what exactly will happen between the Federation and Species 10C and if Ruon Tarka, Sean Doyle, can be stopped by Jet Reno, Tig Notaro and Cleveland Booker, David Ayala. Since Book came onto the ship in Season 3, there has been some confusion about his role. Everyone aboard Discovery knows that he's Burnham's boyfriend. Still, the courier is not a part of Starfleet or affiliated with the Federation. Ayala told comicbook.com how that makes his character unique. So when you're able to be someone like Cleveland Booker, who is part of Starfleet but not part of Starfleet, in a very fun way as an actor, you'll get to break the rules because you know the rules. Is this supposed to make sense? Said Ayala in the 2020 interview. And that is going to be fun to do because we're going to see someone who operates outside of Starfleet etiquette. Confusion about how one non-Starfleet character operates aboard the Discovery is not hard to believe, but it turns out that there's even fan discussion of the roles of some of the bridge crew. In a recent post on the Star Trek Discovery Facebook group, one fan mentioned that he couldn't understand why everyone on the bridge is a commander. Saru, as number one, hardly ever seems to take the bridge when Burnham is off doing something, wrote Trek fan John Maynard. I thought Saru were a captain now, or they demoted him. As I said, I don't know because I haven't seen it. Thinking Voyager, there was a whole episode just about getting the chance to have the bridge, but in Discovery it doesn't seem important at all who's in charge of a starship, because in New Trek the ship is irrelevant. It's not part of the. It's not part of the in Star Trek Next Generation and in Deep Space Nine and in Voyager, the ship or the station was another member of the cast. It was another character, but in New Trek it's not. It's just a ship to them. They don't understand. Anyway, Maynard is correct, as only Lieutenant Christopher Orville Cummings, which is Cummings in June apparently. The Orville, he's got an appropriate name, hasn't he? And Ensign Adira Tal, Blue Del Barrio, are the only non-commanders with regular speaking parts on the bridge. The rest of the bridge crew is composed of Lieutenant Commander Kayla Detmer, Emily Coots, I don't know how to pronounce it, Lieutenant Commander Joanne Oyin Oladejo, Lieutenant Commander Gen Reese, for Christ's sake, Patrick Kwok-Chun, and Lieutenant Commander Eva Nielsen, Sarah Mitic. What's up with Smith? When Ronald Bryce, Ronnie Rowe, was promoted to Lieutenant Commander, he was transferred to the USS Curie and replaced by Christopher. Right, Harry Kim. As Maynard points out, when Burnham or Saru are not available, it seems like the choice to sit in the centre seat is random, since everyone is equal in rank. Fans remember that on Voyager there were differences in rank, and Ensign Harry Kim, Garrett Wang, remained at that rank throughout the 7 seasons of the series. On Reddit, fans noted that Kim remained ensign aboard the USS Voyager because someone's got to be the ensign. Fans pointed out the episode Night, where Kim is on the bridge in charge while other senior officers are away or asleep. Excuse me. Since the bridge roles on Star Trek were initially modelled after the US Navy, comparing how many high-ranking officers serve in a real-life bridge makes sense. Thanks to this listing by former service member Sean Valigura, it's clear to see that the majority of the crew serving on an aircraft carrier's bridge are not lieutenant commanders or lieutenant. Aside from the captain or commanding officer and the officer of the deck, lieutenant, most others are enlisted sailors. That's a link, by the way. If you want to look at the list, it's a link there. Even the original series had a line of command which made sense. At the top was Captain Kirk, William Shatner, followed by Lieutenant Commander Spock, Leonard Nimoy. I think he became a full commander later, or he might have been a full commander from the beginning, I can't remember. Who served as the first officer and science officer. Next there was Lieutenant Hikaru Sulu, George Takei, who served as the helmsman and navigation officer. Lieutenant Naoto Uhura, Nichelle Nichols, as communications officer, and lastly Ensign Pavel Chekhov, Walter Koenig, who was the helmsman and weapons officer. Of course, don't forget, Scotty was the third in command, wasn't he? Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scott. He was the third in command of the Enterprise. Perhaps the Discovery bridge crew are also highly ranked because they are the only people alive to operate the ship, which was built 700 years in the past. Yeah, because they're in the 32nd century now, aren't they? It was built in the 23rd. So it's from 900 years in the past. Or it could mean that the riders haven't wanted to let... Oh, God. How do you say that? Detmer and the others leave the show to serve aboard another ship, as they did with Bryce. However, it seems that the Harry Kim argument where someone has to be the ensign would make sense for the Discovery. Perhaps changes in rank and duties might clear up who does what. As Deciders Brett White wrote, the actual bridge crew, the officers that do essential things like handle operations or pilot the ship, are mostly on the periphery. White also said that the bridge crew seems fractured. Is that it? So it hasn't explained anything really, has it? It's just, apart from that bit that it says lower ranking officers are usually the ones running the bridge in real life. But it's not real life, it's Star Trek. And if they're all commanders, who gets to be in charge? But they'll all have the roles. They'll know, they'll know what to do. And usually when the captain leaves the bridge, it doesn't just go. The captain doesn't just leave. It'll say, so and so, you have the con. That means they're in charge, doesn't it, while the captain's away. But they probably don't say that in Discovery. I don't know, because I don't watch it anymore. So I don't care. And Harry Kim should have got a promotion. He should have at least been a full lieutenant by the time they got back to the Alpha Quadrant. At least. It'd have been a junior grade lieutenant, and then by the time he got back, a full lieutenant. At least. It's like I say, Tom Paris. She got him out of jail. And because of what happened in the Caretaker, she made him the lieutenant at Con. Why did she make him an ensign? But no, it had to be a lieutenant. Then he gets demoted because of the thing with the water world. What a world, was it? Because it was about 600 miles across that. An artificial world, an artificial ocean in space, wasn't it? And he did something with that. And got demoted to ensign and spent 30 days in the brig, didn't he? But then eventually he gets promoted again to lieutenant, so he gets promoted to lieutenant, demoted, promoted back again. All this time, Harry Kim stuck being an ensign. Poor Harry. Anyway, right, Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley has a clever response. I doubt it's clever. Has a clever response when asked about Star Wars Return. Daisy Ridley, who famously played Rey in Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy, has a clever response to whether she'll ever return to the franchise. And there she is. I actually quite like Daisy Ridley, I must admit. Daisy Ridley has a clever response when asked yet again whether Rey Skywalker, it's Palpatine, could return in a future Star Wars movie or television series. Following Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012, Ridley first appeared as Rey in Star Wars The Force Awakens in 2015, which I really liked. At the time, when you think about it, and when you know certain things about, that were behind its creation, then you think, it takes the edge off. But at the time, I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. She will go on to reprise her role in the sequels, ending with 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, which was a space comedy, which concluded the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and in turn the Skywalker saga. No, it didn't. However, the divisive response to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker left many wondering where the franchise would go next. Following the Star Wars sequel trilogy, Lucasfilm has shifted its focus towards Star Wars shows on Disney+, including The Mandalorian, it's alright, The Book of Boba Fett, which was rubbish, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, hopefully it'll be alright, which are all set during the Skywalker saga. When a galaxy far, far away returns to the big screen, it is unclear whether any of those films will feature characters from the sequel trilogy, while John Boyega and Oscar Isaac have expressed no interest in returning as Finn and Poe Dameron respectively. Ridley has shown more enthusiasm towards her potential Star Wars return, making comments to the amount of never say never, because she's not getting much work, is she? I think the only thing I've seen her in since Star Wars is I've actually seen the film, but Murder on the Orient Express, that one, that Kenneth Branagh film. I've got to admit, I started watching it, but I didn't like it. I got 10, 15, 20 minutes into it, didn't like it, so I turned it off. Supposed to be this classic Agatha Christie, whodunit, and it was just full chock to the brim of identity politics and modernisms that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't have happened in an Agatha Christie story set in the 1920s, early 30s, whenever they were set. So sorry, didn't like it. Call me a bigot if you want. Don't care. Anyway, during a recent interview on the BAFTAs red carpet via Star Wars Holocron, Ridley was asked if she misses being Rey and if she will ever come back to Star Wars. Ridley paused before replying, "I'll always be Rey." She then laughed and accurately predicted how this comment may cause a stir amongst Star Wars fans, joking, "Soundbite." And there she is again with her yellow lightsaber. Not the first we've seen. At the end of the Rise of Skywalker, Rey rejected her heritage as a Palpatine, chose the name Skywalker, and showed off her yellow lightsaber on Tatooine. It would seem Ridley's character aims to train a new generation of Jedi, including the Force-sensitive Finn, following the defeat of her grandfather and the First Order. While this storyline certainly creates fertile ground for Rey's eventual Star Wars return, the Rise of Skywalker's final shot may be the last scene of Rey in live action for quite some time. Lucasfilm has had more success with Star Wars fans on Disney Plus than on the big screen in recent years. Still, there are a handful of feature films planned by directors Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi and Rian Johnson. Oh God, that were close. Outside of Rogue Squadron, those films are rumoured to take place during the High Republic. God, blimey. Thousands of years before the Skywalker saga. Well, no, it's the High Republic. It's hundreds of years, isn't it? For crying out loud. Or in a distant part of the galaxy, with shows like The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka and Andor set decades before Rey was even born. Well, not really. There's nothing on the horizon that would indicate a continuation of Rey's story for now. Regardless, Ridley will always be Rey, and iconic Star Wars characters like Luke Skywalker, Anakin and Obi-Wan are currently proving that comebacks are never off the table. There we go. So yeah, I think if they asked her to come back, I think she'd be there in a shot because she's not getting a lot of work. She'd be a bit like the Mark Hamill of the sequel trilogy, isn't she? All the other cast are getting work left, right and centre, and she's not. She'll do voiceovers and stuff. Anyway, but I don't really care. But like I said, I like The Force Awakens, but when you find out, how it were made, and how it's essentially just a remake of A New Hope, which it is, really. You try and deny it, but it is. And then all this stuff about why they changed things, why 3PO had a red arm, and all this, 25% different. They just went in to try and change things so they wouldn't have to pay George Lucas so many royalties, and merchandising and all that. They wanted to put new things in for merchandising. I'd say 3PO's red arm, BB-8, which were cool. It just takes the shine off it. It does. Anyway, so we'll leave that. That was the last of the news. I've no science news today because I couldn't find anything interesting. So, sorry. Got a little bit of on this day, so we'll go to that. There we go. On this day, hang on. Where's me? Let's get you back up there. We don't have my logo on. Anyway, where are we? Anyway, as you can see, Under the Skin, starring Scarlett Johansson, opened on March. Where's me? Never mind. Opened on March 13th. 13th. We're on 14th. I don't even know what day it is. Opened on March 14th, 2013. That's a really good film, is Under the Skin. I highly recommend it. It's not exactly action-packed, and it's one of these weird films. I think it was an A24. You can't see it there, can you? There we go. Studio Canal, Ascot Elite, and A24. So this was an early A24 film. I'm saying it's a bit weird. I don't want to spoil it, but I suppose the basic story is Scarlett Johansson plays an alien who's in like human form. And she's in Scotland of all places. I think is it Glasgow? I think it's Glasgow. Might not be, but it's somewhere in Scotland. And she's like luring men to their death and basically killing them for whatever alien reason. And anyway, it's a really good film. It is a really good film. There's some good performances. Right, so that's that one. So. And just one more. On this day, sadly, 4 years ago, Stephen Hawking passed away. One of the greatest scientific minds of the modern age. Passed away 4 years ago on this day. Very sad. But he lived a lot longer than he was expected to. I think I'm not sure exactly when he was. Was it motor neuron disease? I think it was. Wasn't it a similar thing? Then he was diagnosed with it. He was quite young, wasn't he? He was expected not to live as long as he did. So he lived longer than expected, but it's still sad that he's passed away. Anyway, so that's it. So that's it for the news and everything. So I'll make myself big again, move myself back to the middle. So a shorter show than normal. So hopefully there'll be a bit more news tomorrow, and not quite so sad news. I hope nobody else does. Although it's not looking good. I'm a bit of a wrestling fan, and it's not looking good for Scott Hall, is it? You might know in WWE as Razor Ramon. Apparently he's on life support, and they're going to turn off. They're collecting his family. His family's sort of like coming from wherever, and when they're all there for him, they're going to turn off the life support machine. So there'll be some sad news in the next few days, I should imagine, of Scott Hall passing away. He was a very famous wrestler in the 90s and early 2000s, both in WWE or WWF as it was then, and WCW, its main competitor in the late 90s, early 2000s. So very sad, very, very sad. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. So wherever you are in the world, be nice to each other, help each other out, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop a comment, and hit the notification bell. Don't hit it, just be gentle, just give it a little, you're just clicking on it basically, aren't you? Click on the notification bell, and tell all your friends, give me some views. I want some views. Or shall I say, if I get 1,000 likes, I'll do the next one topless. I won't. No, you don't want to see me topless. It's not a pretty sight. Well, there we go. That's as far as I'll go. Anyway, so until tomorrow, well, there'll be a bit more news. Till tomorrow, I'll see thee. Sorry, just thinking of me being topless. It's not happening. It's not happening. Right, bye. Bye.